Hey everybody, I'm John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. We're at Soundcheck in Nashville, and I'm with Stuart Duncan, and you're out on the Robert Plant, Alison Krauss Raise the Roof tour.
Raise the Roof.
Yeah, mate, what a lineup, man! What
so much fun.
God, in that catalog. I mean, yeah, so great. Okay, so you're playing a lot of instruments, but right now, show us your electric rig. What do you got going on here?
This is not an expensive guitar. This was a pawn shop Squier.
The best kind.
But I had some other pickups put in it and put a mini bucker in there. A lot of people use a mini bucker up on the neck position. I decided I like the sound of this Tele pickup right there, so I just put it right there.
Perfect.
To get a 5-way switch, and I did the old Roy Buchanan trick for you guitar nerds out there of bypassing the treble roll-off and just going straight from the pickups to the volume pot to the jack.
Really? So no tone control?
No tone control.
Wow, just
I didn't have any good tone to work with anyway.
That's great. Well, it sounds amazing. And you've got a double bender on it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's fun.
Yeah, what fun. And so along this, and you're playing dobro and ukulele.
I've got a rehearsal guitar out here and ukulele, mandolins, banjos.
Yeah.
2 fiddles.
Wow. Yeah, that's you're in the hot seat.
So yeah. That's just with a little crunch here with a Bonato effects overdrive.
Oh, sure.
There's without it. Or with some vibrato.
Yeah. So in every instrument you're running through the same rig, right? All going through this amp?
Little Walter.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's been a very good amp for a lot of years now.
Very cool. Well, okay, so this one you're playing on, you said about 3 songs.
Yeah. I've got a Silvertone back here.
Yeah, let's see that as well. That looks like an old friend.
Yeah.
Keeping with the inexpensive guitar theme.
Indeed. Yeah. This was a yard sale find.
God, that's great.
$100.
There you go. So kids, that's all you need.
It really has a sound.
God, that's great.
And this I've got tuned down a half step.
Wow. And is that a short scale? It looks really short.
It's short. It's a short scale.
But it doesn't mind being down to D?
No, it loves these lipstick pickups are very forgiving. They don't get a lot of finger noise or pick noise. They're real stable. And it likes overdrive.
Oh yeah.
And there's an additional one here, a prototype thing that I got from Brent Mason years ago.
While we're discussing it, maybe just take us through this signal flow of these pedals, and since we'll be going through them all anyway.
We have an A/B box here.
Okay.
So when I'm transferring from one instrument to the other, Stuart over here can help me get plugged in with a fiddle or whatever else comes next without having to take a chord out and reach for it. It's already ready to go.
Yeah.
So there's that. And it's color-coded blue and red, so I know which one goes
perfect.
where.
You've got a system.
Into my tuner, then into this and the tremolo.
So into that Brent Mason weird overdrive.
Indie effects.
Indie effects, okay.
And a Carl Martin tremo vibe.
Tried and true, great.
Then into the Bonato. for anything else I might want, I'm running just a little bit of what he calls the steel verb, just a little bit, which I can adjust because it has a tone knob. I can take a little bit of the highs or add them.
Right. And do it with your
Just a tiny
foot
bit, just with
in
my
real
foot.
time.
Exactly, or more verb.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Or less. Or and here's the delay knob with a little helper on there.
Yeah. So in the heat of battle, do you find yourself having a difficult time with your feet dialing up your
Sure.
tone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the scariest sobriety test.
Yeah.
Stand on one leg.
Stand on one leg.
Do that. I've gotten very good at that.
Yeah, stand on one leg with a stadium full of people and some TV cameras. And
well, I mean, it looks a lot better than that all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm faced with making a lot of changes from song to song.
Sure. Okay.
That wasn't the primary reason for getting this, but the big knobs really help.
Yeah. That's great. Okay. Well, two very cool electrics.
Yeah.
Let's look at what's next.
Fiddle for me is always like coming home. We could do some of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
This has been a long time in the making, coming up with fiddle sound, electric fiddle,
Right.
that I actually like.
Sure.
Because it doesn't happen very often. Some instruments like being plugged in better than others, and fiddle's just never been one of them for me.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I figured out some things.
Okay, so what pickup are you using on
That
this?
is an LR Baggs pickup.
Just
on
the
this fiddle.
bridge type.
It's embedded into the bridge.
Yeah.
But what I did, violin pickups, they tend to like violins that have less high-end projection, like most fine violins don't like to be plugged in. You want like a Gordy-sounding fiddle that doesn't sound as good in an orchestra,
Sure.
but it loves being plugged in. So I wanted to get like the hybrid between those two things. So I took a nice sounding violin and I took the top off and did some hogging inside, what they call a regraduation of the top.
Wow.
To make it just a hint more Gordy sounding without completely ruining the instrument, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a big commitment.
Yeah. It is. And I've had a lot of time and experience doing that, so I wasn't so worried about ruining it, because I've ruined a lot of cheaper fiddles before I got to this one.
Did you literally do it yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 25 years.
Wow.
To different instruments.
Well, it's kind of like the parachuter packing their own chute, you know?
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
So it has a nice tone to it.
God, that sounds so transparent. Hard to imagine it's going through that same...
And it works for overdrive too. The Baggs is well shielded, the Baggs pickup, so you can...
God, that is just nasty. That's great.
Right?
Yeah. Fabulous. Okay, that's going to be hard to beat. Oh, great, Stuart. So what's next?
Well, something maybe less abrasive.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah, mandolins are good.
Oh, yeah, that looks like an old friend.
This is an old friend, signed by Jamie Foxx.
Oh, that's great.
Oddly enough.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the situation were you on? Was it like Ray or something like that?
It was I think the ACMs were held in Las Vegas, and he was a guest vocalist with something, and so he came in for rehearsal.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything for him to sign, so I just said, "Here, sign this."
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Yeah. Well, that's too cool. Okay, so going through the same rig.
This is a Fishman A-style mandolin pickup.
And it's a Craftsman?
It's a Kalamazoo.
Oh, Kalamazoo, okay.
Kalamazoo from the late 30s, I'm guessing.
So the Gibson family, part of the, like a Gibson
but
O.
but lightweight because there's no rod in the neck.
Oh,
right?
wow.
It's just plain. and I had guitar-sized frets put in it, so it would play a little easier.
Oh.
And so one of the things that we do with this, if I can get the delay happening here, I got little markers on where the delay is for the
sweet
speed
spot
on the Ballad of Evermore.
Oh,
Fine Led Zeppelin number.
got it.
So it'll be something like this, and we just dial it in where we think it's going to be by those marks, and we pray it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because I got the intro all by myself.
Right.
So at that transitional point, I use that lever thing to back off the delay, so it's not so.
Yeah, making that switch with your foot.
Yeah, and keep the timing going right.
Yeah, right. God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's probably a song you've been playing since high school.
No, actually, no, just for the last 12 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Since the first tour we did.
Okay, great.
No, I listened to it plenty, but I never got out the mandolin and tried to learn it until somebody said, "Hey, you should learn it."
Yeah, right. So you had to. Yeah.
Till I had to.
Yeah. But that's, can you believe that's a 90-year-old instrument? And
Yeah, it's amazing. It's still kicking. It's got a lot of a lot of bruises. You can see all the cracks that are in the back.
Noble battle scars. Yeah, that's great.
But it's still kicking.
Oh yeah, sounds great. Okay, very cool. Let's see what's next in the bag of tricks.
All right.
Oh, we're going old timey.
My father was a folk music fan in the 1950s, and so he went out and got himself a long neck banjo, like Pete Seeger played, right?
That is a canoe paddle, man. Yeah.
And so that was my first instrument, was my dad's long neck banjo.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got used to having one around. This is not his, but it's exactly like his.
So what is the vintage of
the reason
this
the reason I chose a long neck for this particular tour is because of you can really tune down the string low.
You know, Stuart, if I was just listening to it and not watch, I would have no idea what that instrument is, because it sounds like a resonator a little bit. Wow.
So that is a Shatton pickup with a piece of wood shimmed under it to give it more output.
Wow.
So it immediately has that sustain thing going on.
And held together with gaff tape.
Exactly.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
You got to keep those wires from rattling.
That's right. Multi-million-dollar tour held together with gaff tape.
And baling wire.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's great, man.
It doesn't usually go through the amp. You can put it through if you wish.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It doesn't. I wonder how this is untested.
Oh, okay. Oh, so is this one you usually want direct?
This doesn't usually go through the amp, so.
Okay. Well, let's see how this little experiment goes. By the way, that's the tech Stuart, so it's...
We're both named Stuart and spelled the same. U-A-R-T.
There we go.
Capo adjustment on the fly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
Sure. Yeah.
They're doing that.
It was just one tweak away.
Something like that. It's a little
Yeah.
out of tune, but you get the idea.
That sounds okay. So tell me about this instrument.
Colin Linden played an instrument much like this on the record, and this is Gold Tone's version of that vintage instrument. I'm not sure that his has a cutaway. It might, but basically a reso guitar, but with a guitar neck that's fretted that you don't play overhand, but you play like this.
Sure.
But with a pickup on it too.
And ordinarily you run that just through a DI to the front of house, or
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that sounds great to the amp.
Yeah, the amp works great.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, well, at least for right now, yeah. Well, that's great. It's really got to be exciting doing those changes. You know, I bet you were just on it the whole time.
It's a challenge that I gladly accepted because you know I have all these toys that I never get to use, and now I'm using like all kinds of toys.
Yeah.
Right.
And the final toy.
Yet again, doesn't usually go through.
This also doesn't usually go through the amp, but you get the idea. I just there was a song that required something nylon string.
Yeah.
And so I started looking around and realized they made a 6-string nylon ukulele, a guitalele. That's what it's called. So.
Well, that's great. So is it tuned like a uke or what?
It's tuned like a guitar.
Okay. So you're in force. Yeah. How cool. And a Yamaha.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It didn't come with the pickup. I installed that myself.
Oh, really? What kind of pickup are you running?
I stole it out of a bouzouki that I
Oh, really?
already had.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could
Yeah.
tell you what it
Right.
actually is.
But there's a bouzouki somewhere missing a
Well,
pickup.
at
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Well, Stuart, so cool to see how you're doing it all. It's such a, doing the multi-instrumentalist thing, it's really interesting to see just the mechanics of how a person pulls that off.
It's been a long road to discovering what works plugged in versus not, and having an amp that's a tube powered amp is a big part of being able to run acoustic instruments with piezo pickups through that,
Right.
and have it be a warm sounding thing.
Yeah.
'Cause other amps just won't do that.
Sure. And that little Walter sounds great.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, perfect fit. Now, are you running wedges during the show?
We are, and ears.
Okay.
I got one side of an ear in.
So you can hear your amp a little bit, hear the room a little bit.
Yeah, and then, but Allison's playing her fiddle most of the times through her own vocal mic.
Oh,
And
really?
we're doing some twin parts.
Yeah.
And so I got to hear her.
Yeah.
And so I got ears for that. So I can hear her vocal mic through that. But I hear other people through the wedge on my left side. It's a balance.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, Stuart, can't thank you enough for taking us through your rig.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're blessed. Okay. All right. So now I'm with Viktor Krauss, and Viktor, actually, we met like 25 years ago. I had a deal for about 6 minutes on Atlantic, and Gary Pachoza produced, and you were playing bass on it,
wow.
upright.
Yeah,
and now
great.
you're on this crazy guitar. Let's hear about this thing.
Well, this is a recent acquisition. I got this recently at Rumble Seat Music. And, And they have beautiful stuff there. And I met, I've known a bunch of the guys there for a long time. And this is a 1967 Galanti Grand Prix, and which was an accordion maker, and I visited this store. I visited Rumble Seat a couple times, and they said to me, "You got to check this one out. It's the best guitar in the store. Even though they're they got
they got a bunch of Les Pauls from the 50s. Yeah.
And so I played it, and I was just like, wow, it's really great, and thought about it for a while, and then ended up getting it it sat around for a while and picked it up. I just kept thinking about it, and I was just like, yeah, this is. So now it's here.
Meant to be. So what's the country of origin?
It's Italian, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Galanti may have made some stuff for Goya as well.
Okay.
But it's cool. It's got these crazy buttons for turning on the pickups. This is a kill switch. This one is the bridge. The neck, bridge, and then both.
Oh.
And it's just cool. My son said it's like the coolest thing I own. Yeah.
All right. Well, he would know.
Yeah.
He would know.
But these are mini humbuckers, so it's got a bit of, got a bit of output, which is kind of cool.
Well, let's hear this Jetsons weirdo. Yeah.
Well. But it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, let's see some more cool guitars.
All right. A lot of this stuff I've had a long time, and so I'm making Kevin work.
Yeah.
Like almost every other, every tune is a guitar switch. But,
okay. So tell me about this thing.
This one, this is a 61 that's been pretty butchered. It's got I got this one from Groom Guitars a few years ago, and on the back they call it the plate of death. And so they added this on here, and I've had a bunch of straight ones before, and this one's just great. Huh. It's like it had the neck brake, it had a headstock brake. None of the stuff is original in it. This one when I got it, it originally had a which wasn't original. It had a Bigsby horseshoe Bigsby on it.
Sure.
And then I put this back on there with the the Mojo X.
Sure.
The stop.
Yes.
To keep it on not operational. And then I felt like it wasn't quite doing it. Like I wanted to have a tremolo again. So then I tried putting a Maestro Maestro on there, and then the neck angle wasn't right, and then put the horseshoe back on, and then eventually went back to this without the Mojo X. And
so does the whammy bar actually function now?
No. It's funny. I've got a knob off of mixing console that's blocking it so it doesn't bend.
That's great. Yeah.
Just wedged it in there, and But I mean, it's great. And
I love that historic instrument. Worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Mixing knob crammed in there.
Yeah. And I used this a bunch on the last tour we did, and then I got actually another SG, which I could show you too.
Oh yeah, let's see that one.
This one's more recent. This is a 64, and I wanted to, I actually did like having the Maestro.
Oh sure.
On there, there's a couple tunes that kind of require having that, and. So this one is stock, and so you can kind of tell that like the high end and shimmer of the real deal is kind of. So I probably end up using this guitar more than anything else, but more is like 3 songs. Versus like 1.
But you're changing a lot, right?
Pretty much every
and
song.
You're playing keys as well.
Yeah. And there's actually a couple tunes where I end up playing keys for the first half of the song, and then I switch to guitar in the middle. So it's
that's always a little stressful, huh?
Yeah, a little like actually some of the changes are actually more stressful than the songs.
Right.
It's just like okay, and then there's all this tap dancing you have to do right before.
Yeah.
So it's but
that's great. Very very George Harrison. That's great.
Yeah, and it's just like I on both of these I like these. what are they? The string butlers. Dean Parks had shown me he has 61 or 62 SG that he had one of these on there, and he said that it really kind of changed the tension and the tuning stability on, especially on the SGs. And
Sure.
I love it. You know, he was right.
That's a great. I've seen those. It's a great idea. I've never used one, but it's a great design.
And I put the other one is I guess it's like Type 1 where it goes into the tuners. If you're using later tuners, these are the original tuners. So I ended up putting the ones that just cover the truss rod. And
sure.
There's nothing permanent modification to it or anything like that.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah. This is I use this on one tune it's a cool sound. It's originally it still is a Vox, but it was one of the Octave Mandolin 12 strings, and I bought this years ago, and it had been re-necked, so down to a 6.
Okay.
And it's just great. It actually works really well on this one tune that we do, the Price of Love, and so it's kind of a.
So are you in guitar tuning for it, or?
It's just up an octave. So
okay. Okay.
So it's just so unlike Nashville tuning, it does have the high B and
cool.
high B and E. So I mean, and this one's kind of fun because it's like I think it's got all of them on there. You know. So that's the one that Stuart was playing the low banjo on there. But, and that's one of the times that I used the hologram.
Which that brings up an interesting point. Let's segue into talking about your pedal board, and you're running all these instruments through the same pedal board and amp.
Pretty much, yeah, except for the acoustic guitar, and there's a little bit of routing different with the bass 6.
Okay, well let's hear about this. Maybe talk about just kind of the signal flow through it. And this is a pretty mighty pedal board, the spaceship.
It's had multiple. I guess so you never stop messing with your pedal board. Yeah,
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, but it's running through a couple of, through the tuner and then through an EP booster, which is in front of the compressor for a couple of the tunes, a couple of the instruments that have lower output.
Sure.
And then I'm using this Guitalele ST2 compressor, which was another recommendation from Dean Parks. What I really like about this is that it allows a direct signal to come unaffected at the same time. So it's kind of, there's a single switch on there, so you're kind of running compression and as well without. And it's it's so, it's got a bit of flexibility. That's nice. So it's not completely squashed.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the guy tone. Yeah. That's cool.
And then another EP booster, which I have in front of the drive sections, which is this, the Nobels overdrive, which is everywhere, and then Distortion, and then into the Klon, or the KTR.
Sure.
And I guess before all this, I have a separate loop that's running the Dan Electro backwards backtalk delay.
Yeah. Would you mind playing that for a second? Sure. It's such a weirdo pedal.
Yeah. So this is. So, we're in it already. So it's a. So it's just, it's a great, I've had a couple other ones. I made the mistake of selling my original one and then bought it again when it was way too expensive.
Sure, as we do.
Yeah. And then this pitchfork, I have the Electro Harmonix pitchfork is also in line, so I can. It's probably better demonstrated on a guitar, but I can. So bringing it down a fourth.
Sure.
If I want to get into baritone land.
Yeah.
And then I'm going into the Game Changer sustain pedal,
That
which is
such a cool pedal.
yeah, and that's so if I'm wanting to hold a note. So, and then what's great about that particular pedal is you can layer on top of it. Like it's kind of like the Electro Harmonix Freeze, except a bit more advanced. And
Yeah.
and so then I'm running an effect loop, which is that space echo, just to give it kind of like I guess it is essentially it's a delay. So sometimes if it catches, it's like a little,
Sure.
And so that usually corrects it a bit. And then into the Super Trem 2, Super Trem 2, which then goes into the Strymon Volante, and then into the the hologram microcosm, which is instant ambient, anything you want it to be.
I've never seen that before.
Oh gosh, it's
play.
It's
Let's hear that weirdo.
So I'll take off the. Let me take off the other delays. So this is. So if I add that.
Oh yeah.
So it's a very complicated delay with with reverse capabilities, octave, micro loops, Yeah. So
how trippy.
Yeah. So mostly you can become a mess in a hurry if I'm playing it. So like on certain parts of the song, I can just kind of bring it in for a second, and,
sure,
and then it just But it's I'm still kind of figuring it out.
Yeah. Well, and by comparison, from all those years of when you were on a gig just playing upright, did you have any pedals at all at that point?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I've been a big pedal geek forever. And I've like major, like at the worst point in my habit.
At the worst point in your addiction.
I was up to about 300 pedals. And,
oh my God.
Yeah. This was kind of neat. There was just because people knew me, I was a collector. I'm in one of those. It's the Stomp Box book.
Really?
The rarities one.
Oh, sure.
They did a page. I mean, a little chapter on some of my collection.
That's great.
But like it was trying to figure out exactly what to bring. This but I've become smarter, I think, since the first tour. So now I'm figuring out. Okay, this will work on this song, and this will work on that song.
Sure.
And not just a bunch of toys out here.
No, it's great. Yeah. Okay, and then amp-wise, I think the most interesting effect you have going on is that Yamaha.
I love this.
So what is that?
Well, it's a Yamaha RA 200R, and they were made in the 70s. I think maybe as early as like 1974. A friend of mine, Ray Herndon, who I played with in Lyle Lovett's band for a guitar player, he had showed me that these that David Gilmour had used those starting after the Animals tours.
Oh.
And he showed me pictures of it and asked me if I'd ever seen one of those, and then I said no, but it looks like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I was looking on Craigslist, and there was one that was being sold for $100.
Oh my God!
And so this one has been sawed off on the back. Normally they've been normally they have 412s in addition to it.
Wow.
And it is like one of the loudest. It's a 200 watt.
Oh yeah.
I think it's three power amps. One's that's doing the rotor drivers, and then two for the other sets of 12s. And I ended up getting a real one, and Tom Bukovac has. I think I remember seeing something that was like his favorite toy as well. And
Book has everything.
Yeah. And so I ended up getting that one, and then when I talked to our production manager, I was saying, well, I have one that's big, but it's like 200 pounds. He said, well, maybe this one would be okay. Maybe the sawed-off one would be okay. And so I'm not using the preamp. I'm just using the power amp, and then this Groove Tube Trio is the preamp.
Okay.
On top of that, and that's pretty cool. But I'm kind of using the clean one, which is kind of supposed to be like a Fender, whereas Fender, and this is supposed to be a Marshall section. This is supposed to be maybe like a Bogner section.
So are you running it along with the orange at all times, or are you switching between the two? Or
pretty much the orange is running at all times, and then this pedal here, I'm kind of bringing it in different volumes, and sometimes the rotary isn't in play at all.
Kind of like Jill Walsh had those Leslies going. Yeah. Oh, that's too cool.
Yeah,
man.
but it's and then just the then the orange is it's pretty much on the entire time.
Can you just play that a little bit more? It sounded so amazing.
Oop. When it's not doing that.
God, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's so cool that you want to put it on everything.
Yeah, right. You never want to turn it off. Yeah, it's so great. Okay, that is the coolest.
Yeah.
Now, I guess all you have left are a couple acoustics.
Yeah. Well, and then what? Yeah.
Oh, actually, your bass too.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
the bass 6, which is which I end up probably playing more than anything else on the show. Just a good old Dan Electro.
Sure.
It's not the UB. Maybe it is the UB6. I know there's a number connected with it, but
I know somebody in the comment section will probably know exactly what it is.
But,
let's hear this side.
So it's. It's most of the time it's kind of aggressive stuff out there.
Okay, do you find with this stock Dano bridge, do those just bounce out when you hit it hard? Have you had that?
Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of fudge this a little bit. And it's usually mainly here.
Sure.
But this one is a good one, I think.
Yeah.
But it's but I ended up. I have another one. It's a short horn. It was like a single pickup short horn double cutaway.
Sure.
And a gold one, and that one's like a toy compared to this one. And then I also use the Gretsch Dwayne Eddy model, which is that. It's really pretty.
Hey, yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
And that one is...
and this probably weighs all of like 3 pounds.
Yeah, don't weigh anything. Yeah.
The strap weighs as much as the bass.
So this,
wow.
So this is beautiful. And so there's been some stuff where it makes sense to use this one too.
Oh, yeah.
But this is...
So that's a bass 6?
A bass 6, yeah.
Wow.
So it's just tuned like a bass 6, same way as like a Fender bass 6 or Fender 6 or whatever you call it. And...
okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, and this one does intonate a little better than that one. That one you have to kind of cross your fingers.
Sure. So. Yeah. Okay, great. And then looks like Kevin's got your acoustics.
Yeah.
So everything's running through the amp up to this point, but these you're running direct.
These run direct, and these go through these Demeter.
Okay.
tube directs, which I've used them on bass forever. You know, it's almost superstition for me that but every time I use it, it's just like it sounds wonderful, and so you know, I end up using those. And but yeah, this is a 43 LG2.
Oh, beautiful!
And, when I knew that I was going to be doing this tour and that Battle of Evermore was going to be on the set, you know, something that I was going to play was instantly going to become an heirloom.
Sure,
you know,
right,
you know,
right.
And so I talked to the Tony Nagy at Gruhn's, you know, in the repair department, and he had said that, you know, I'm looking for something that can, you know, doesn't have to be like the most perfect, you know, example, pristine example. And then, so he says, "Oh, I might have something," and you know, and I've had LG2s before, and especially these, you know, this era with the baseball neck.
Sure.
You know. So he got this, and it was perfect for it.
Oh, beautiful. And what pickup did you end up going with?
I believe this is I've been a Fishman guy forever too, and this is the Infinity, which has the blend for microphone and pickup, but it's, you know, under saddle, and you know, and then you can mix in between the two.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I think it's a mahogany top one, and it you know, it did exactly, you know, it was. I remember picking it up. It was like 2 days, or maybe I was thinking it's on the way to rehearsal. You know, I got a chance to play it, and it's just like, okay. It's exactly what I wanted. You know,
so, that's great.
Yeah, and I think we just have this other one here.
Okay,
this one I've had forever. This one is, I think it's a 53, just Martin 018, and there's one song that I need to be down a half step, and this one just I've played this one forever, so it felt familiar.
Sure.
But
and same pickup in that as well?
Yeah, exactly same pickup.
Is there much of a tweak in volume and things like that, or?
Yeah, we're still kind of ironing it out a little bit. You know, we're I think we'll probably figure it out by you know, by before Tuesday.
Right.
But yeah, but it is a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, Victor, this has been so much fun. I love you taking us through this pedalboard and that thing.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's I love that. It's
totally impractical. Totally great.
Yeah. Weighs a ton.
Weighs a ton. Yeah. Vulnerable to breakdowns. Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, great. Well, such a pleasure.
Well,
we're going to talk to your last band member, JD. So, okay. All right, now we're with JD McPherson, who you remember from his rig rundown, I guess, how long ago was that?
9 years, maybe, I'm guessing.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way.
Yeah. Well, it's been a good 9 years. It's treated you well.
Oh, yeah.
And you got new guitars.
I got new guitars.
Let's talk about this guy.
Good to see you, John.
Good seeing you, man. Yeah. I'm a fan.
So this is going to basically be one big Fender and TK Smith commercial, this whole thing. But
I like that neighborhood.
So I love Fenders, and I love bands that have had Jazz Masters, but I never owned one. And because I can't keep my hands off of stuff and fiddling with things, the Nashville team at Fender are like some of the best people, and they indulge me in some of my weird ideas. But this is one of those weird ideas. And I wanted basically a 50s shell pink Jazzmaster, but I would never have any hope of actually getting one.
Oh, sure.
So this is a 50s repro that they got for me. They made it the proper shell pink, the kind of gray pink.
Right.
And then they even painted the headstock, which is an unusual detail. My good friend TK Smith, like I said.
You guys go way back.
Yeah, we do.
Because your last rundown was heavy in that.
Yeah, well, he's amazing builder, craftsman, musician, friend, just guy I'd like ask for advice on like home renovation.
Sure.
So, but he made this pick guard for me with this little Argyle detail.
Oh, I love that.
Which just freaks me out and gave me some knobs. But this is I use this on this gig a lot. It's kind of Fender Custom Shop bridge. It's so brassy.
Total
so it's like
weird bridge.
Yeah, it's like a glass bell. It's just it's just like so clean, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of for this thing, I've been kind of doing like a James Wilsey vibe, you know, with this guitar because it's so surf oriented.
Sure.
But I love this thing, and I get so many weird sounds out of it, and so. Well,
and in this band, it's such a cool band. It seems like everybody's bringing in these different flavors. It's really
it's so Stuart and Viktor, who you met, are you know, masters.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like the 15-year-old that knows dirty jokes. That's what the ad in the paper said.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't say yourself short, buddy.
No, but I mean, I'm Stuart. You know, he's got the folk instrument market covered.
Oh yeah.
Viktor's like an engine room of sounds and textures and things, and you know, I know Robert loves. I mean, he's an expert early rock and roll, and he keeps me on my toes. He'll say something like, what about like Gold Band? And I'm like, wait a second, was Gold Band Muscle Shoals? And I have to like think about it for a second, but cues from him, and we both love that stuff. So I've been able to kind of dig into a lot of the guitar players that I love from the 40s and 50s and 60s.
Sure.
And kind of bring those into what those guys over there do. So it's a dream come true, you know.
And you're opening the show too, right?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of karmic. I like rescued a baby elephant in a past life or something. But yeah.
That's great. Okay.
So that's the
that's an
Jazzmaster.
excellent start. Let's see what's next in the arsenal. Okay, now you're in Supro land.
Yep. So I don't know. This was like 7-8 years ago. I was in Austin, Texas, in a guitar store there, and I saw this like the '62 dual tone Supro. Link Raysville, like I saw it, and then I just immediately, and I was like,
got a rumble, yeah,
had to get it. And I use this on one tune. I use this on Fortune Teller because it's just so, I don't want to say unreliable, but it's so like right on the edge of being not even a guitar anymore.
Right.
It's I've got it tuned down to E flat, and it's just. So if I hit, you know, really hard, I get all those wow, which just, you know, gives me the fizz.
Oh yeah.
I love it. But this thing is like I put this. You know, I was told. I asked a buddy of mine, Deke Dickerson. I said, man, there's this dual tone at this Austin music store, and he's like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of does one thing, and I have exploited that one thing to its fullest extent.
Right.
But yeah, I love this thing, and it's super noisy. It's super microphonic. So when you play, you can hear it. And it just
that's all part of the charm.
Its own. It's sold its own soul.
Yeah. Okay, you know, it's got one thing, but that's one great thing.
I love this guitar.
Yeah, okay, love that.
And it's also a really good blunt force tool if you need to defend yourself.
Oh, this is...
Penguin.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're a big fan of the Plant Krauss material, as I am, you'll know that one Mr. T-Bone Burnett sort of like kind of is the pulley and string system behind that, and he's a real big Gretsch guy. So literally, he's very tall man. So I knew that I was going to need a Gretsch. I've never owned a Gretsch, and I admire many Gretsch players. Dwayne Eddy, Eddie Cochran, you know, Brian Setzer. All these people are like, but it wasn't ever a thing for me. I was such ensconced in Fender world, but I love this thing so much. It's like. It just sparkles like a diamond in a goat's ass.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anyway, this goes on. This is on like, what's the tune? Let me look at the set list. This is on Gone, Gone, Gone. So that's the. wank that all day long. But I had to have a Gretsch for that because everything I've ever seen, T-Bone do with them was on a Gretsch, and I just love this thing. I mean, it's
so cool.
Penguins to me are just like the coolest, weirdest one. And
because they only made originally just a handful of them, right? That was like the rarest. Wasn't the Penguin like the rarest of the Gretsch?
Yeah, this is a reissue, and obviously, but it's pretty close to the real thing. I had a buddy look at it who's a Gretsch aficionado, and it's just been a...
With the foam, right? Just on the top 3 strings.
That was just a muting thing I was using. Plus, I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
It's just got a thing. And only Gretches do that thing.
Oh, that's great. Okay, very cool.
Gretsch.
Okay, what's next?
So
you did not have this one on your rundown.
No, so this is actually a loaner to me for this tour. TK, this is one of his specials, but it's got a different set of pickups and a different pick guard. But the first thing I did with Robert and Alison was we shot a BBC TV appearance, and I had that guitar, and that's what I played, and that's kind of like the first thing I did, and I used that other guitar on so many songs in the set, and so I knew I kind of needed to have a backup because one night something was going on with it, and I had it out, and I was playing a Tele, and I just kind of saw Robert kind of sniffing around like, what's missing here?
Yeah.
So I knew I got one of these, but this thing is very similar to the other one. Obviously, this is more like what TK would make. The other one's just a complete, crazy, insane guitar. But yeah, these are very accurate representations of what like the Bigsby's would be in the 50s.
And he tools all these himself, right? All those.
Yeah. Makes everything.
Yeah, he's not buying a Bigsby. He's making everything.
These are sand cast aluminum.
God, that is labor intensive, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I just love these. It's like Twangsville,
Now, are those flat wounds?
Yeah, these are Tomastic Infelds, 11s. Everything that TK will send you is going to have them on there.
Yeah,
and I feel wrong changing them into something else.
Do you ever change them, or do you run those just forever?
Much to Paul's chagrin, I probably would not have changed any strings ever, but I've been touring with the same cables and strings for 5 years.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, right. they seldom break. That's kind of the good thing, those Tomastics. But I use D'Addario Chromes on all my other guitars.
Okay.
And those are the ones that are a little bit more, I abuse them a little bit more. These are more kind of like swing.
Yeah. So do you live pretty much on the bridge pickup on that, or do you?
For this one I do, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of, this guitar is for that.
Yeah.
That vibe. And but they're very versatile instruments. I run them through all kinds of pedals, and I've gotten all the nooks and crannies to get feedback happening and stuff like that. So my regular touring outfit doesn't do a lot of that stuff, so it's been nice to kind of try some things out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
okay.
So I think this was actually in the possession of Julian Lodge for a minute.
Really?
Yeah, he's all right.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that dude's amazing.
Oh. Another one I messed with.
Oh,
this is my little, this is a Ventera. I think that's a Ventera or an American Vintage, but it's Fiesta Red, kind of 50 style Tele. TK Smith pickups.
Couldn't they make them any bigger?
Well, it's like his CAR pickups. They're like Bigsby pickups.
Yeah.
But I used this one on Trouble with My Lover that Alison sings the heck out of. And I've got the low string tuned to C so I can...
Oh yeah. Is that neck super fat?
Super fat.
It looks really fat.
It's like a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the guitar that I asked Fender to help me get together for I do a Christmas tour every year, and I wanted a special Christmas themed guitar. So
perfect.
Got a gold pick guard and the red, but it's great for that tune in the set. This is a TK electric mandolin, like what Tiny Moore would have played. The pedal board is a hybrid of my band's pedal board and what I need for the Plant Krauss gig. Because the fine folks at Pedal Train helped me kind of condense them into one, because I'm doing both sets, so it's good to have it all just on one thing, so it moves from over there to over here.
Sure.
So
okay, so you're starting with your D'Addario tuner. Why don't you just take us through the signal chain from there?
Okay, so the D'Addario tuner is like it's this really cool thing where you can hit a thing and a letter comes up, and you turn one of these, and it changes the
so you can
key.
Tune your guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very important, apparently.
Thanks.
Very important.
Thanks for that explanation. Okay, great.
I have a good buddy, Brian Kehoe, over at Jim Dunlop. I don't know if you know him. He's a wonderful guy.
Sure,
but,
love the Dunlop team.
He hooked me up with these Echoplex pedals, which I just use on. I think this Echoplex delay is on all the time for me. Basically, it's just a real solid.
Kind of leaving it a little bit of a slap, or
yeah. I just Let me turn off all the reverbs.
Yeah, just that
just
little
simple,
slap.
So the preamp is just kind of a little boost for leads. Hot Cake is something I use. Maybe the Mando was a bad choice to
you can
show these off.
Yeah,
maybe I should change. This is Paul's beautiful Telecaster that he's letting me use.
What a great tech. Takes care of guitars, brings his own.
Let me just introduce Paul. Paul, come here, buddy. This is Paul Ackling.
Paul
Ackling is one of the best guys you're ever going to meet, and he's taken mercy on me and gone through all my stuff and made it 10 times better than it was. And he's worked with everybody. T-Bone, he's worked with Bob Dylan, Elvis Costello, Greg Gallman. He's really taken me into
Yeah, that guy. That's great.
But he's like loaned me pedals and loaned me because I have a few pedals, but he always seemed to come up with something that was more appropriate. And I think that's his specialty. Is he helps people kind of dial in their tone, especially in studio settings.
Oh wow, that's great.
So we knew what we were going for, and he kind of would help me zero in on it. But thanks, Paul.
Paul, love your work. Thank you.
So the Hot Cake.
Okay, Hot Cake.
I don't know if you've seen the Hot Cake before. I'm sure.
Sure.
But it's
But let's hear it.
I use that in my band. That's what I use for the head over heels sound. It's just got this
it's cool.
harmonic kind of fuzz distortion. That's I use all the time. I use it in the other set too. Let's see what we got. This is Paul's Deluxe Reverb amp pedal, which is a good. Nice.
Yeah.
This right here would be my trusty Way Huge Javelina fuzz. That's
Love
the Lucky Penny pedal. This, I don't even know. What is this, Paul? 6? Distortion? It is. Oh, that's right. We just added this, and I've been using this on basically the last half of the set. It just sounded better with it on all the time. So who makes this? I want to give him a shout out because it's really good. Sokolis? Sokolis, thank you.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, not at all. No,
you make a real nice pedal. I will learn how to say it.
Yeah. And then from there,
Purple Trem. I love it.
Tremolo, great.
I use that for the kind of
sure.
that kind of pitch tremolo.
Yeah.
I love tremolo. It's a tonic, and so I have a few different ones. But this one is one of my favorite tremolos, which is I don't tend to go for. I try to find something that's going to help approximate an amp tremolo.
Yeah.
And this guy's got a tube in it, so it's just got a little fuzz on it that helps me kind of.
Sure.
But yeah, that's a Fender made. I love that thing, MTG tube tremolo.
Love it.
Memory Man, got the reverse on. That's a common thing I would hear on T-Bone records.
Sure.
And then my trusty pair of Dr. Scientist reverberators, no longer in production, I understand.
Okay, we're
so here's a plate. This is dry. Let me get rid of the delay. And then it's got that kind of EMT splash.
Sure.
And then I turned this one on with a long decay on it.
Yeah. Do you just leave those on most of the time?
Green is on all the time.
Sure.
And then
really, without it, it's a little empty, right?
It is. Yeah. And that's that.
That's great. So modest pedal board, but a lot of options.
Yeah, I don't know how Victor does it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, man. That's like playing another instrument, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, now amp-wise, let's talk about what you're doing here.
So down there in the end is my trusty Texotica Presidio 15, made by Billy Horton in Austin, Texas.
Right. And I think did you have that on your last rundown?
I did. That's been with me forever, and it's the opening band amp.
Yeah.
And it's a backup for this guy,
it's got a Weber in it. Yeah.
All of these have Webers in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's kind of the first thing I would do with pretty much any amp I would get. Is
great speakers. Yeah.
Fender Custom Pro 15. I just love this thing. It's like every beautiful Fender Tweed, except real loud and clean.
Yeah.
The 15-inch.
And there's 15s, yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean, this thing's built like a tank, too. I've had this out with me for a long time. I don't tour with a whole bunch of amps. I pretty much just tour with these two. I don't have backups in my own thing, and they've been really good to me. So what's going on here is I have this for kind of my clean, twangy tone, and this Silverface, I think is a 68 reissue. This is like my dirty.
But they're both on all the time?
On all the time, yeah. And the front house kind of switches in between them.
But one's a little dirtier than the other.
Yeah. Fiberlux is just a hair dirtier. But yeah, man, that's it.
Oh, modest. Great. Oh, you know what? There's one. Paul's got one more guitar. We should show it because it's as an homage to your earlier rundown.
Yeah. I just want to say too, really quick, Divine Noise cables. I have one of those, and I've been touring with that for like 8-9 years, and it has never failed on me.
Wow.
All of the pedals have been changed to Divine Noise, and one night I couldn't find that, and we had a gig, and we used a different cable, and like the signal just went like this.
Really?
So I'll say that for free.
Okay, there we go.
Here it is.
Yeah, see,
Excalibur.
Yeah, love this weirdo.
Yeah,
that
so
is
this
great.
thing is, man, this thing is, I'm embarrassed every time I take it to TK to get serviced because, I can just kind of see him most of the people that play these things are sitting down.
Oh, yeah.
And this thing is like the lacquer's coming off right here and oxidized and everything. But I love it. Even though I mistreated, I do love it.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, that thing is you, man. That's great.
Yeah. my baby, my special baby.
That is great. That's great. Well, man, congrats on this fabulous tour and this great gig. And yeah,
great to see you again, man. Thanks.
Yeah, it's great to see you again and see you in this context. So
well, I always believe in giving gratitude when able. Stuart, Viktor, Jay Belleros on drums, Dennis Crouch on bass. They've been so welcoming to me. All the crew is like the top notch. Robert and Allison are the best people to work for. It's just
this
dream
is
come true, and and it allows me to be able to talk to you again. So I don't know. I'm the happiest kid on the block.
Yeah, well, fabulous. Well, just as you should be. So see him out on tour. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
Okay. Cheers.